You know, I really wanted to get this done a little bit earlier, but if you see with the very strange title on this video, I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm actually putting NXT Takeover in front of my Raw recap for today. And here's the reason why. I did not get a chance to watch SmackDown or the NXT from last week yet. I will be taking care of that. As a matter of fact, it sounds like that might be your video tomorrow. We're going back to NXT and SmackDown. I don't know if they're going to stay together for the long run, but at least for the time being. Basically because it is now reveal season with Halloween Horror Nights, and we never know when we're going to get any new information. So I'm going to have to do things a little bit differently. And that also includes the fact that Takeover was 2 weeks ago, and I'm just not getting to it. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Got a lot of stuff coming. Like I said, Ashley debuted on Pop this past weekend, and the verses went over really well, Singing in the Rain versus The Artist. And the movie review was successful as always. Next week, the movie review should also be successful, and the verses is going to be rather epic. So that's coming up. Ashley will probably bring us some more E3 coverage, as well as other things as well. And who knows, maybe Will and Ben might stop by, and we're always ready for new Halloween Horror Nights content. So, we're going to kick this video off talking about NXT TakeOver. And for those of you out there that are regular viewers of my NXT videos, or in this case, my NXT and SmackDown videos, you would know that I'm a big proponent of NXT and the fact that it is very necessary in WWE. NXT is filmed at Full Sail University, and basically what it is it's completely different from anything you've ever seen. Now, obviously, if you're an independent wrestling fan, I could say that's different. But for the WWE Universe at large, it's pretty different from what you've seen before. And it's a small venue, but it's a very vocal venue. It's kind of like what the Impact Zone used to be before everybody decided to water it down. And just like big crowds are doing nowadays, the crowd thought they were more important than the show, and yeah, that doesn't work. Unless it's night after WrestleMania, then it's pretty much expected. It still may not completely work, but it's expected. So, NXT is something I really enjoy. I love the talent in NXT. I think the talent that's come out of NXT have been phenomenal. And NXT has one thing the WWE will never get right, and that is incredible commentary. If I worked for WWE, I don't think I could be on Raw, and I don't think I could be on SmackDown. I'd have to be on NXT because Byron Saxton is the only commentator that calls everything right. Now, granted, he misses things every once in a while, but he calls matches like I would. And that is awesome. Get the storyline over, get the match in the ring over. That's the one constant a lot of commentators in the WWE miss, because obviously they need to get the story over, get the match over in the ring as well. You can put over everything if you know how to do your job correctly. And the commentary team in NXT of Byron Saxton, William Regal, and insert whomever as the third man or woman in the broadcast booth works really well for me. I really like the commentary. I think it gels really well, and I think it gives a sense of urgency how important the NXT Championship is, given the fact it is the only singles championship in NXT for their superstars to compete for. That being said, it's a lot more viable that they compete for one championship, and that means that everybody in the entire company is gunning for that one championship. And that makes everything a lot more entertaining. They're more wrestling heavy. They're still storylines, but when it comes down to it, it's a lot more like heavy on the wrestling. Kind of like how the first hour of Nitro used to be when it was heavy on the cruiserweights, before we got to the main event in hours 2 and 3. Now, I've been up all day. It's been a really rough night with all the Horror Night stuff this morning and everything, so sorry if I'm seem a little sleepy. That's why I'm drinking a Kickstart here, which seems to promote the kickoff for the pay-per-view, so it's not like I'm not doing it to promote WWE, even though I'm wearing a Bobby Roode t-shirt. but I'm sure you probably didn't pay attention to that. Some of you may. So let's start off Takeover with the first match. It was Adam Rose taking on Camacho. Of course, this has been set up for the last couple of weeks in NXT, and this is the singles match between the two of them. Well, Rose actually comes out, gets out of the Exotic Express in the parking lot of Full Sail and walks all the way through the building, and he's got the entire Rose party with him. All the Rosebuds are there, including Captain Comic, Garrett Dillon, and the Bunny, the Lemon, and they're all in tow, and they're all ready to party. And of course they are. So this match is really short. Let's pick it up midway through, and a big boot off the ropes from Camacho downs Rose, only gets a 2 off of that. 2 clubs to the chest, and he locks in a half halo chin lock, which is like a half straight jacket chin lock for those of you that are not Shane Helms fans. Clubs him in the back, and it drops Adam Rose like a bag of dimes. Leaping guillotine leg drop gets a 1 off of that, and a headbutt, whip in, duck down, kick to the chest. He misses the charge, and Rose on the offense with the snap jabs, a big right hand, whip in reverse, a boot off the ropes, gets caught. It's a huge spine buster by Adam Rose. Charges in with the elbow in the corner. Back kick to the midsection, choo-choo, and the Bronco Buster in the corner, nails the party foul, and gets the 3 off of that, and they party to the back. So yes, Adam Rose wins, and I thought this may be the first of a few times I talk about Adam Rose in this video, but Rose was not on Raw tonight, so yeah, we'll talk about that. So basically that ended a very short feud, and Adam Rose made a cameo in NXT now that he's on the WWE main roster. So he's back in NXT, but he's not back in NXT for good. He just basically cameoed for the special event. And I can't call this a pay-per-view, this is a special event. This is the sheer definition of a special event. In essence, NXT is kind of like the Clash of Champions, to be totally honest. Our next match involved the 239-day title reign of Connor and Victor, the NXT Tag Team Champions, the Ascension. They're facing off against El Cal and, of course, his partner, Kalisto. This team was basically thrown together, and I have a feeling they're not going anywhere after this. This was basically built so they could become the next challengers for the Ascension. And it, like I said before, I've said it numerous times, there is really no competition for the Ascension in NXT, so I would almost disband the tag team division at this point if it doesn't create new tag teams to go after the Ascension soon. I know the Legionnaires haven't really been used on television yet, but once they do, there's a viable team you can use. So, Marcus Louis and Sylvester Lafort are a tag team, and maybe they'll do something with that. And of course, if you looked at the results, which I kind of skimmed them, there is another thrown together team which got a shot at the Ascension, and they came up empty-handed as well. So the Ascension will be a team to be reckoned with for a long time. Like I said, there's reasons to bring down 3-man band to work with them. I think that's a good idea. And, you know, at this point, I wanted to see them against The Shield. I think them against Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, that would work. I think that'd be a good idea, so maybe make that happen sometime soon. We got midway through this match as well. Kalisto gets put on the buckle backwards by Victor, tagging to Connor, and ties him up to the Tree of Woe, and he boots him while he's in a precarious position, tagging to Victor, drives him hard in the canvas, gets a 2 off of that, a chin lock. Kalisto elbows his way out, and he gets tossed to the floor for good measure, tagging to Connor, and I like this. He's on the floor, and they're really close, kind of like the old Center Stage Theater, WCW. Basically, the barricade is here, and the ring apron is here, so they're very close quarters there. So basically what he does, he uses his strength to toss Kalisto into the ropes. Like a whiplash effect, basically, like a car crash pretty much would target that same effect. And he goes for the second time. It gets stopped. So he charges in, he gets caught with a boot, and Victor ends up getting scissored face first into the ring apron. Toss him up, he charges into the buckle, and tagging to Victor, and he charges in with an elbow. Victory roll connects, and tag out finally. Clothesline on Victor, and an elbow on Victor by El Cal, and he misses a really awkward springboard into a 180 headbutt, which looked like it didn't really connect very well. Whip in reverse, puts on the brakes, Modified Pele kick and a moonsault from El Local. Connor makes a save. A roll-up, which gets countered, of course, by a kick from, Kalisto. Local leaps over and gets caught with an STO by Victor. Fall of Man connects, and the Ascension cannot be beat. We get our next match of the evening. It is for the #1 contendership for the NXT Championship. That is between Sami Zayn and Tyler Breeze. Now, before this match starts, both men come out to brand new entrance themes. Obviously, they both have new entrance themes and new merch, so they're going to have some stake in these two gimmicks for a long time. Now, I said once I was watching this, I said to absolutely no one, because no one was with me, that I didn't really dig Tyler Breeze's new music, because I was so used to the old theme. But you know what? It's kind of growing on me, and I like the very Derek Zoolander sounding music. I think it works for me really well. We're going to pick this match up about 10 minutes in, because this match was long and this match was awesome. So Zayn counters Breeze with a Blue Thunder, and he gets a 2 off of that, goes up top, he leaps over, lands on his feet, charges in, gets a back kick, and implant DDT from Breeze, 1-2, Sami Zayn kicks out. He pulls him out of the corner, pops him up into a sit-out powerbomb, 1-2, and again, Sami Zayn kicks out. 7 big right hands in the corner, playing on, of course, the concussion that Sami Zayn had several months ago. And he pounds away, but he stops before the 5 count because lately the referees have been disqualifying people, so yeah, you can't really do that any longer. He gets caught again, and the exploder suplex in the corner by Sami Zayn, and when they both get up to a vertical base, they trade blows, whip in, reverse again. He puts on the brakes after a couple of counters with both men on top at one point. He goes for a roll-up. Breeze holds on, and when he turns around, he gets a hook up on the tights, 1-2, and a kick out. Backdrop, float over, lands on his feet, counter again, and he kind of rolls him up. This time, he hangs on the ropes for good measure, and when Sami Zayn reaches his feet, whammo, super kick out of nowhere from Tyler Breeze, almost decapitates Sami Zayn. He gets a 2 off of that. 3 big right hands, and Sami slaps him in the face, and this infuriates Tyler Breeze because you don't touch a model's face, and of course he gets clubbed viciously in the back for his good measure. Whip is blocked again. Sami's daring him to do it again, and he goes for a kick. He steps over, he's going for the pull-through powerbomb, and it gets countered into a body scissors, countered into a small package for not even a 1 count, countered back, and Sami Zayn plants Tyler Breeze in the canvas with the Kenta Kobashi Orange Crush, 2.5. Tremendous maneuver there that I believe we've never seen in WWE before. Charges in, Breeze goes for the haluva kick, Breeze goes to the floor to break up momentum, and Breeze gets the tope con hilo, eats that for his measure, tosses him in, goes for the haluva kick, and Breeze goes to block. He puts his hands up in an X, and when he goes for the kick, he basically gets inadvertently low blowed. Zayn drops, and when he gets back up to his feet, he eats the beauty shot, and 1, 2, 3, Tyler Breeze is the #1 contender for the NXT Championship. And what a tremendous match this was. Really enjoyable match. Definitely a great back and forth match. I want to see a whole lot more between these two in the ring. And the right person went over, and who knows what they're going to do with Sami Zayn now. I think that he may be a good contender for the Shield. Him and Corey Graves both. I think they both could be potential Shield members if they want to go with a 3-man stable. Still with Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, given the fact they have NXT backgrounds. The thing is, Sami Zayn is used on television. Corey Graves hasn't been on TV for a bit. So, it'd be interesting to see if he actually would re-debut as a member of the Shield. He fits, he works, he would be the Seth Rollins of the group, and I think that would work really well. But I still would like to see Sami Zayn in the Shield if they go that direction. Rusev comes out, and he gets interrupted by my favorite wrestler on the planet, Mojo Rawley. Yes, that is extreme sarcasm, folks. I hate Mojo Rawley. And it's awesome because Mojo gets basically wiped off the face of the earth. Accolade And then he tries to crawl up the ring apron. Lana's like, no, don't finish him off. And then locks in the accolade again, and that's it. Rusev hit, Rusev crush, Rusev squash. So yes, that was awesome to see Mojo Rawley get hurt. I mean, not get hurt, but I mean, get beaten like a phone book. It was awesome. I don't know why I used that terminology, but it worked for me. So yeah, and apparently this was going to be a storyline. This was going to be an angle they were going to run. And no, it's done. No more. They just squashed Mojo. Mojo's done. Hopefully they'll realize the error of their ways with Mojo Rawley and send him, give future endeavor the guy soon. Honestly, I really don't like Mojo Rawley at all. There's a lot of guys that have taken a while to grow on me. Big E and Ryback are both two of them. And it's funny because one's from NXT and one just took a while to grow on me. But now, I can honestly say Mojo Rawley is the person on the roster I do not want to see at all. I'm sure the guy's nice, and there's nothing about him personally, but the character Mojo Rawley, don't like it, don't need it, don't want it, reminds me of Chad Cross. Anybody that's a West Virginia wrestling fan will get that reference. And shout out to anyone that does. No offense to Chad Cross personally, it's just that's how it works. Paige comes out with the NXT Women's Championship match on the horizon. Obviously, she's carrying the Divas title. It's interesting how the Anti-Diva is still proudly displaying the butterfly belt. You would think they got rid of that championship by now and brought back the old WWE Women's Championship, but not yet at least. And she's basically saying that the title that she's holding, that she was holding, which would be the NXT Women's Championship, is the key to the future. And that key to the future can lead to this. And she raises the Divas Championship. And of course, we get our next match. Semi-main event of the evening. NXT Women's Championship Tournament Final. It is Natalya with Bret the Hitman Hart in her corner against Charlotte with the Nature Boy Ric Flair in her corner. This match was good as well. Really enjoyable. We'll pick it up also about 10 minutes into the match. Charlotte locks on an abdominal stretch, gets countered by Natalya, locks on an abdominal stretch, and pulls up on the hamstring as well for good measure. Backslide and a roll through, front drop kick from Charlotte, 1-2 and a kick out. 3 boots in the corner, misses the charge, and Natalya with a butterfly suplex, a snapmare. She walks over the back, and of course she gets the front drop kick off of that. The sliding drop kick gets a 2. Whip in, lands on the apron, and a forearm knocks her off. Charlotte grabs the foot of Natalya across the ring apron and does a modified dragon screw leg whip to the floor. Toss her back in at 6, makes a cover, 1-2 and a kick out. So she goes up top for a moonsault, which is completely uncharacteristic of what we've seen from Charlotte in the past, even though we know that she's very athletic. And it misses. Discus Lariat does connect, 1-2 and a kick out from Charlotte. So a sharpshooter. And she fights out, drags her in the middle of the ring, and Charlotte's going to go nowhere at this point, but he gets countered into the figure 4 leg lock. So they trade slaps, and they reverse momentum over and over again. A slap to Charlotte, and then Charlotte reverses into the figure 4 as well. But this time, the Bret Hart ring post style figure 4, imagine that, but across the ring apron instead of the ring post. And that's pretty much what happens, and of course the referee calls for the break. He's like, I gotta break this, and he does. So they trade slaps after that, and a boot to the knee knocks Natalya into the ring steps and tosses her in, goes for the sharpshooter, gets countered into the sharpshooter by Charlotte. Natty kicks her off, and she gets caught with the bow down to the queen, 1, 2, 3, and Charlotte wins the NXT Women's Championship in a tremendous match. After the match is over, sportsmanlike conduct from everyone. Everyone shakes hands, and Ric Flair cries as his daughter wins the NXT Women's Championship. So what do we got from this? Possible contenders for Charlotte at this point. Definitely rematch with Natalya. I would say Bayley, if they ever do anything back with her. If they do anything with bringing Emma back on a semi-regular basis, and she wasn't on Raw tonight, so I was really strange about that. I didn't see SmackDown, so I don't know if she was on SmackDown or not. I don't know if there's a reason to explain why Emma wasn't off the show, so if there is, I'll find out when I watch that show tomorrow and redo that recap, even though I know I'm doing it late, but still, not as late as this. But yeah, that got the, that's interesting there, and maybe, obviously, I would say that Alexa Bliss is definitely a challenger, and eventually I could see Sasha Banks wanting to be the head female in charge, and she is the one who turns on Charlotte I don't really know about storylines in the women's division at this point in NXT. It's just kind of there. But, yeah, it works fine. I have an issue with Charlotte winning. She'll go on bigger and better things. Main event time. Adrian Neville defending the NXT Championship against Tyson Kidd. This match was really good as well. And we go midway through this match. I'm going to go about 15 into this one because this one was really long. This was over 20 minutes and it was action-packed. Definitely a mirror match between the two. A lot more than I thought it would be. So Tyson goes up top and he gets forearmed. Neville climbs up and he goes for a suplex. It gets countered and he goes for a sunset flip into a powerbomb, but he lands on his feet, pop up, and sit out powerbomb by the NXT champion, gets a 2 off of that. 2 straight kicks, whip in reverse, drops his head down, of course, gets kicked in the chest for good measure, and a springboard gets caught, and a Canadian leg sweep off the middle rope. Like, they're both on the ropes. He springs off the middle rope, does Neville, gets caught by Tyson Kidd with a Canadian leg sweep off the ropes, gets a 2 off of that, goes up top, leaps over, lands on his feet, and he goes for a crab into a roll-up, and 2 count, enziguri kick, drop kick to the side of the head, and a suplex is blocked. Suplex is blocked again, and a suplex basically sends both men over the top rope to the floor. That was pretty awesome, to be totally honest. Something very interesting. Both men in at 10. Ducks the clothesline and a chop. Double leg going for the sharpshooter Tyson Kidd, and he counters and locks in his version of the dungeon lock. And, of course, there is a rope break right in the nick of time before Neville has to give it up. So he goes up top. He's caught in the ropes, awkwardly Sabu style, and a somersault leg drop connects and only gets a 2 off of that on Neville. He goes up top, he climbs up, gets knocked off, runs up again, and a top rope Rana, snap off the top rope by the NXT champion, hits the red arrow, gets the 3 off of that. So Adrian Neville retains the NXT championship, and after the match is over, he goes to shake Tyson Kidd's hand. He's like, no, and then he shoulder shrugs him, and that's the end. So yeah, have we seen the end of this feud between Adrian Neville and Tyson Kidd? No, we haven't. And looming on the horizon is Tyler Breeze in the wings waiting for his title opportunity. So really interested to see what they do with that. Keep the championship on Neville for a bit. I see that happening, to be honest. So that was NXT TakeOver. What I'd recommend from this show, honestly, if you haven't seen Sami Zayn and Tyler Breeze, check it out. If you haven't seen Natalya and Charlotte yet already, check it out. If you haven't seen Adrian Neville and Tyson Kidd, even though it kind of went slower in the middle, but then again, that's a methodical pace sometimes, and they told a decent story and decent psychology in that match where 2 superstars definitely can go. I'd definitely check that match out as well. Apparently, Neville takes on Justin Gabriel on the NXT that I missed that I'll be talking about tomorrow, so we'll talk about that tomorrow. So that was NXT TakeOver. Well, let's talk Raw. 23 minutes in NXT, let's talk Raw. So Triple H and Stephanie come out, and of course they're going to make a blockbuster announcement, an absolutely blockbuster announcement, and they're hand in hand and happy as the day is long, and of course they're going to make the announcement that was alluded to on the WWE app that, of course, unfortunately, due to the doctor not clearing him to compete, this is legitimate, folks, this is a storyline, Daniel Bryan will not be competing at Money in the Bank. Therefore, Stephanie said if he doesn't compete at Money in the Bank in the stretcher match against Kane, he would have to forfeit the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So that's exactly what this is about. Triple H, all smug as ever, says it's a good night to be right. Tonight we're going to make a blockbuster announcement. So he calls out to Dr. Joe Maroon, what a maroon, on the Tron, and of course Bryan is not cleared to compete, but hopefully he will be in the near future. So basically, they of course hear the boos of the crowd because they're getting it this crazy. They can't keep up, Daniel Bryan that is, can't keep up, because how can you expect an A+ recovery from a B+ player? We're still using that B+ crap again. This is a business. And you need a champion who can actually defend his championship. Therefore, we officially are stripping Daniel Bryan of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And, you know, for all the things that happened, Brie simply just quit for nothing. Money in the Bank, for the first time ever, will crown not the briefcase holder, but the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So Alberto Del Rio obviously already advanced by defeating Dolph Ziggler last week, and they just threw Randy Orton in because he's Randy Orton, and apparently he's on vacation so he can't compete, so yeah, he's going to get in the match anyway. Adapt or perish, as always. Seth Rollins adapted, and Triple H believes in Seth Rollins. Tonight, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns will face off in a 6-man tag against the Wyatt family, and tonight the Shield will perish. So, and there's always that. That's the opening. Crowd kind of wishy-washy tonight in Minnesota. Opening match, Money in the Bank qualifier. It is the United States Champion Sheamus taking on the Intercontinental Champion Bad News Barrett. This match was great as always. We're going to go midway through this match as we always do, and first thing I see when I come back from commercial break is not a chin lock, but a shot of the championships hanging high above the rafters and above the ring. And, of course, when I pan down, chin lock. So a chin lock and a punch out from Sheamus. Whip in, charges in with a back elbow, and Barrett with the tornado into the slap suplex. Gets a 2 off of that. I like when he does that. Actually, really unique maneuver that Barrett has concocted for himself. So a stomp and a middle rope elbow, but Sheamus gets the knees up. Axe handle, charging shoulder in the corner, running knee lift, and he charges in. Barrett gets the knees up because he's seen this show before. Ducks the big boot, and an Irish curse backbreaker on the Intercontinental Champion gets a 2 off of that. Goes up top. He leaps over Barrett and lands on his feet, and he gets caught. Winds of change, 1-2, and a kick out. Goes for Wasteland, and while he's up there in the fireman's carry, Sheamus elbows his way out and ducks the brogue kick. Catches Barrett off the ropes with the over-the-shoulder power slam. 1-2, and a kick out. So Barrett escapes while Sheamus is going for the brogue. He goes up top to nail Barrett on the floor. Barrett scoots out of the way, and Sheamus finds nothing but shoulder into the barricade. So they get back in at 9. Well, Sheamus gets back in at 9 because the fans are chanting along with Barrett as they want Sheamus to get counted out. Goes for Wasteland. This time it connects. 1-2 and a kick out. And he goes for the bullhammer. It gets caught. White noise out of that. 1-2 and a kick out. A slingshot from Sheamus going for the slingshot shoulder. And of course it gets caught with a side headbutt. Playing up on the potential concussion by Sheamus. The same thing he'll do to Sami Zayn. It's just Sheamus this time. It's a redhead regardless how you look at it. 3 big boots to the head, basically just discombobulating Sheamus as much as humanly possible. Tosses him shoulder first in the ring post, and then does it again, and then he gets Sheamus back in the ring. He nails the big boot, and he's pounding away with boots in the corner, and what happens? He takes a second, gets his eyes off the prize, and whammo, brogue kick, 1, 2, 3, and Sheamus is now heading to Money in the Bank. This match was awesome. Really enjoyable match. I like the chemistry between these two. I think they're really hard-hitting, and they provide really great matches, and they're definitely a difference from a lot of the same old Sheamus matches we normally see. I like Sheamus against Cesaro, I like Sheamus against Barrett, and I like Sheamus against Alberto Del Rio, to be totally honest. I know a lot of people are kind of soured on Del Rio, but I haven't, and I won't. So, we get another wide interruption after this match, and of course, Luke Harper is there, and he has some words. He says, they call us pariahs. We're 2 discarded animals. And sometimes I get those urges from a deep, dark place. Bray Wyatt shows up and says, urges. Every man has urges, but the true measure of a man is to admit them, to learn how to control them. The Shield used to refer to themselves as the most dominant force in our universe. But that ain't the way I remember it. They fell victim to the faults of man. Their lust and greed and valor for glory led them right down in the pit where they belong. And tonight they'll burn for it. For I am no man. I am reborn. Our bond can never be broken, and our urges can never be satisfied. And then, of course, Rowan in his creepy sheep mask says, follow the buzzards. And great stuff. Obviously setting up our main event for the evening. So we got our next match, Rusev against Zack Ryder. Poor Zack Ryder. Nice to see Lana as always. Rusev hit, Rusev squash. Ryder tries to get a little bit of offense, and he charges in. Ryder gets both knees up. He goes to the middle turnbuckle, preferably for the missile drop kick, but he ends up eating the Muay Thai kick. When Rusev's out of the way, he leapfrogs over him. He eats the Muay Thai kick, step on the back, and accolade. That's the end. The Russian flag drops from the ceiling, and it's over. It's kind of like Mexican America in TNA. So yeah, Rusev hit, Rusev squash, Rusev crush. Same old, same old. Rusev needs a new opponent. So, of course, the Cody Rhodes experiment of who's going to team with Goldust continues this week. This time, R-Truth is his partner. Yes, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion R-Truth is his partner. And they're facing off against the hometown boy Curtis Axel and Ryback in this next tag match. So we go midway through this match. Clothesline and whip in reverse, drop down uppercut by Goldust, inverted atomic drop, boot to the side of the head, whip in reverse, and Samoa Joe snap power slam on Curtis Axel. Climbs up and the 180 flying body press hits both members of Ryback Axel. Gets stopped with a knee by Axel, whip in, charges in, gets the boot up, and Goldust with the code gold. Ryback makes a save before the 3. Truth gets caught, tosses over the top by Ryback, and Goldust catches Ryback with a spine buster, rolled up from behind by Axel. Axel hooks the tights, takes advantage of being the legal man, and gets the 3. So that's the end of that. Yeah, it was a match. So Layla is talking to somebody in the back that is working on her hair. I'm guessing her stylist, I guess. And she's bad-mouthing Summer Rae, and of course, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that, especially when you're being filmed. Summer shows up, she pours milk on Layla, and then she drops powder on her, and she bombs out. So, of course, hell hath no fury like a woman scored for Fandango. So, we get our next segment as 3-man band come out. And they're going to interrupt the Shield, and they're going to wait for the Shield to come out. Obviously, because they're not 3 anymore, they're only 2, and 3-man band are still 3. So, of course, the Shield take advantage right off the get-go, and they just beat 3-man band into oblivion. And after a very awkward camera shot that I'm sure got someone fired tonight, Roman Reigns makes Heath Slater eat the spear on the ramp, and that's pretty much the end of that. Ambrose gets in the ring, calms himself down a little bit, and basically says the Shield will go down as one of the greatest groups in the history of sports entertainment. We dominated, we beat everybody, but we had a cancer. We weren't well. Our cancer was named Seth Rollins. He's the kind of guy who would stab his brother in the back and sell out like a suck-up to the Authority. So basically at this point, Dean Ambrose goes all crazy at this, like, normal, basically. He says he's going to rip out all of Seth's hair, and he's going to take out his teeth, and he's going to just beat the daylights out of him. But they're going to listen to everything he has to say about his supposed explanation for why he did what he did last week, and then they're going to beat the hell out of him. Seth, you committed an unforgivable sin, Roman Reigns says. You are the scum of the earth. You know, you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't piss in the wind, and you don't stab your brothers in the back. Bad Roman Reigns. Baddest man on the whole damn plane? Doesn't really have the same ring to it, does it? Sorry. Randy Orton basically thinks he's the face of the company. Roman Reigns going to make him the ass. And then Triple H, we're going to have our own little Game of Thrones. Something that completely went over my head, because obviously I don't watch the show, and the only reference I have is the stuff with Bill and Ted. And believe that. So yeah, that sets up our main event for the evening. We had a tag team match. The Usos come out, and immediately I'm thinking, who the hell are the Usos going to face on Raw tonight? We've already seen Ryback Axel. We've already seen 3-man band. Who are they going to face? Fandango comes out, interestingly, and brings out Damien Sandow wearing a... I'll be totally honest, he's wearing a nude-collared, not nude, a nude-collared leotard and ballet slippers. And he comes out doing a ribbon dance. He has a yellow ribbon. He's tying the yellow ribbon around the old ring post, I guess, in this case. So yeah, this match was really short. Sandow, of course, being made to look like a fool. I do appreciate his dancing prowess. His demi-plies were spot on, and they worked really well. So yeah, Well, this match ended really quick. The Usos ended up sending Fandango to the outside, and Sandow ended up getting demolished by the Samoan Splash, and that was the 3 count. So yeah, nothing said about that match. Happy to see Fandango and Damien Sandow on my television, but God, I wish they'd do something with both of them right now. No Summer Rae here, so I'm surprised they didn't go that direction. Next match, Xavier Woods against Bo Dallas, and of course, yes, I am a Bo Leaver. This would be his 6th match in WWE since his return, and a chance to go 6-0. Well, Bo ends up taking advantage of a mistake from Xavier Woods and 2 short arm elbows, 1 short arm clothesline, but he gets caught up with a forearm from Xavier, and the flying forearm charges in, and Bo Dallas backdrops him in the ring apron. A springboard gets caught with kind of a runs into him, is basically what Bo did, and a swinging Bodog gets the win. Okay, once again, as a commentator, I know I've never been paid for doing commentary in my life, and the only thing I can really do at this point are the videos I do for you guys and girls out there, but seriously, a running Bodog JBL is what Dustin Rhodes used to do in WCW to people, what Barry Windham used to do in WCW to people. A standing Bulldog is basically just headlock and drop down, right? A running Bulldog is not a swinging Bulldog. That makes no sense at all. I mean, at least you're not calling it Stratisfaction, which is basically what it is. But yeah, I like Bo Dallas using the double arm DDT. I mean, you already had Sami Zayn using the Kenta Kobashi special of the Orange Crush, so why don't you use the real Kobashi special with the double arm DDT? But no, they don't go that direction. They're having him use the swinging Bulldog as a finish. Not using the spear, because God knows too many people use the spear in WWE. They're not using that really awkward power slam he used to use. And they're not letting him use a double underhook DDT. They're just letting him use a swinging Bulldog. I think he needs a new finish, to be honest. But I still think it's hilarious after the match is over. He basically shakes Xavier Woods' hand and basically tells him that one day he will be a champion as well. That was hilarious. A champion in life. Even better. Next match of the evening, another Money in the Bank qualifier. It is Cesaro against Rob Van Dam. Paul Heyman comes out, and of course, we're in Brock Lesnar's hometown. He tries to bring up Lesnar. Crowd thinks Lesnar's going to come out, but ends up being a swerve, and here comes Cesaro. So, let's go midway through this match, and once again, we see, when I come back from commercial break, titles hang in the air, when he's panned down, chin lock. Chin lock, and turned into a side headlock on Van Dam, and Van Dam punches his way out. Backflip, lands on his feet, and a spin kick gets a 2 off of that. A shoulder block, a whip in, gets caught, fall away slam on Van Dam, tosses him up, and upside down into the barricade. Swiss uppercut and a double stomp when they get in the ring from the leaping variety gets a 2 off of that. Chinlock applied that again. Van Dam elbows his way out, kick to the chest when he ducks his head down. Spin kick, and when Van Dam gets Cesaro up again, a clothesline, ducks the clothesline, whip in, reverse, charges in, misses in. Van Dam with a straight kick to the face, split-legged moonsault gets a 2 off of that. 2 shoulder blocks in the corner, and a spin kick, whip in, charges in. He goes for the forward roll into the pop-up Swiss uppercut, the Swiss Death, 1-2, and a kick out. Modified Tiger Driver gets a 2 off of that, and short arm, clothesline, ducked. Van Dam with the body scissors roll up and makes Cesaro eat the Savate kick when he gets up. Rolling Thunder gets a 2 off of that. Charges in with another spin kick in the corner. I'm sensing a pattern in this match. Whip in reverse, charges in, gets the elbow up, does Cesaro. Springboard to the middle, gets crotched by Cesaro, and Cesaro pulls his legs into the ring post and looks at him, knowing he can't do anything to combat what Cesaro is doing. It makes Van Dam eat the neutralizer, and that's the end. So, 1, 2, 3. Not as good of a match as they've had before. Van Dam needs to learn more moves. I know you say what you want, but yeah, Van Dam just relied way too heavily on the spin kick and many variations in this match. So yeah, I could have seen a lot better match with Van Dam and Cesaro, and I have before. This match just wasn't it. A couple good spots, that's about it. No deadlift side salto, no giant swing, obviously, because obviously he's not doing that at this point with the him trying to be a heel at this moment, because he'll probably be a babyface by the time the year's over, if not by SummerSlam at this point. And obviously he didn't go for anything unique on Van Dam. No Alpamare water slide. I think Sheamus the only anyone's going to take that. I think people will take that. I just don't think he'll break it out in these matches. Seth Rollins is here for his fireside chat with Michael Cole. And, of course, he's wearing a suit, obviously, clad from head to toe, dressed to the nines. Michael Cole gets in the ring. He's got brand new music, so obviously we know something's going to happen with him being pushed, obviously. He says, last week wasn't a big deal. Not to him at all. I was doing what's best for me. I created the Shield. I can destroy it. I injected the poison in. And it takes an architect to put together a group. Ambrose is a lunatic. Roman Reigns needs someone to harness what he's made of. They owe me everything. They're nothing without me. Why is it such a surprise this happened? See, I learned to be a success. And to be a success, you have to evolve to adapt. I didn't sell out. I bought in to the evolution of Seth Rollins. I betrayed my brothers, but to me, they were just simply business associates. And I severed a business relationship. And everyone's going to start believing in Seth Rollins. Seth tosses the chairs out. He says, I said my piece. Calls the Shield out to the ring. And they come out. We get a Wyatt interruption. The Wyatts attack when Rollins is distracted. He bombs out. And John Cena ends up making the save. And the Wyatts powder. So, of course, Cena is the third man in the sixth man. Why wouldn't he be? We get to our next match. It is the Divas Champion Paige against Alicia Fox with Oksana in her corner. I need to come up with an odd name for their tag team, I guess. Roll up, gets a 2 count, and a clothesline by Foxy gets a 2 off of that. The standing tilt-a-whirl backbreaker gets a 2, and a headlock. Paige elbows her way out, and she gets caught with the side toss, but it gets countered into a satellite head scissors, sends her to the floor. So, the rolling short arm clothesline, a very misplaced dropkick that just did not work at all. Gets a 2 off of that, an elbow. She goes to the middle rope. Fox pulls her off, and a whip in to Oksana, who's trying to interfere. She's not even on the apron. She basically gets whipped into Oksana, like downward into her on the floor. And Paige locks in the PTO, and that's the end. After the match is over, what happens? Foxy goes crazy, as she always does. She slaps Oksana, and she goes outside the ring, gets people's bottles of water from ringside fans, and a container of popcorn. She gets in the ring, and she douses Oksana with water. So she's like drenched with water, and then she grabs popcorn, tries to feed her, and then she apologizes, and she kisses her head, and just like, yeah, Foxy is crazy, and I guess that's the storyline we're trying to play here. It was okay for what it was. Next match ends up being the semi-main. If I would have known that, I would be completely shocked. It is Jack Swagger with, of course, Zeb Coulter in his corner with a sign that says Deport Santino that says, I got a pizza. I give you a pizza, my mind, something like that. It was really funny. And, of course, facing off against Santino Marella, who's a little bit more serious, it seemed like. And Santino sends Swagger to the floor. Swagger gets up in the face of Zeb. Zeb slaps him in the face. Swagger's like, why'd you do that? And then Zeb slaps him even harder, and Swagger just yells at him. He was like, ah! But he gets back in the ring, and that was enough to get Swagger to get his fire back. And he nails a takedown on Santino. Whip in, misses the charge, and he goes for the Cobra to Santino. For once he gets swatted off, and he eats the gut wrench fall away gut wrench power bomb for the 3 counts. So Swagger wins. So we get our last segment before the main event. It's kind of strange because we're really we're not short on time here. We're actually like 43 minutes, like 17 minutes away from the top of the hour before we get this. Cody comes out with an idea for a new partner for Goldust. He says, I need somebody that'll magnify the magnificence of Goldust, and next week he'll be your partner. It'll be awesome. This person was Max Moon, but it won't happen. This could easily be Cody under a mask, potentially. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to look at this. If they're going to do that, I don't know at this point. Vicky shows up to celebrate the firing of Brad Maddox and Daniel Bryan being stripped of the championship. Stephanie and Triple H don't want to have anything of it, and Stephanie basically says, get out of here, I fired you before, don't make me do it again. And we get the worst segment of the evening. Because it was just an announcement. It lasted a couple seconds. But my God, it was excruciating. there's going to be a guest host next week from Raw in Cleveland. And it's going to be Kevin Hart. Ugh, so angry. I hate Kevin Hart. Obviously got to promote Think Like a Man too. So he's going to be hosting Raw next week. Oh, I really hope someone, I don't care who it is, I mean, anybody, I don't care what heel it is, comes out and makes Kevin Hart look like a fool. I mean, bumps Kevin Hart. That'd be totally awesome. They bumped Jeremy Piven, so why can't they bump Kevin Hart? Sorry. Main event time. John Cena, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns taking on Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Bray Wyatt of the Wyatt family. So this match joined from the last commercial break, of course. There's a neck twist applied from Rowan, and he turns it into a neck vice, and an escape by Ambrose. And he gets caught coming off the ropes with a side slam, 1-2, and a kick out. Tagging to Bray Wyatt, a big right hand, charges in with the avalanche, and he charges in. Ambrose gets both boots up, goes up top, gets caught. Uranagi, 1-2, and a kick out. Roman Reigns makes the save. Harper with a knee to the back sends Roman to the floor, tagging to Harper, 2 of the uppercuts, and a third, of course, sets up for Ambrose to hit the Jawbreaker Lariat. Tagging to John Cena, tagging to Eric Rowan, ducks a clothesline, shoulder block, ducks the clothesline, proto-bomb, 5-knuckle shuffle, AA Harper over the top rope to the floor, nails Bray for good measure, and a shoulder block runs over. John Cena does Eric Rowan. An overhand right when he gets back up to his feet, tagging to Bray Wyatt, and a big right hand. Leaping back senton gets a 2 off of that, and he conducts the crowd to sing, and some do. Cena stops it with a standing drop kick, and a right hand stops the tag that's attempted. Tagging to Luke Harper, and 2 driving elbows, puts him in the buckle, ties him up to the Tree of Woe, and a torture rack into a neck breaker, gets a 2 off of that, and the gator roll into the side headlock. He punches his way out, gets caught. Michinoku driver by Luke Harper, 1-2, and a kick out, tagging to Rowan. Leaping knee drop, excuse me, side headlock, and he punches his way out. Excuse me. To hit Bray, fall away slam to John Cena, tagging to Bray Wyatt, 6 big forearms, a headbutt across the ring apron. He's like draped across the ring apron at this point. An elbow, and he does the dance with the devil in the pale moonlight, of course, and he does a suplex toss. My God, both Cena and Bray were loud on calling this match. If you didn't know any better, you probably still could have heard it. Leaving back senton misses, and tagging to Roman Reigns, clotheslines Harper, and ducks the clothesline, leaping clothesline, and leaping kick to Harper, and then 1 to Rowan, which are laying across the middle rope. Ambrose clotheslines Eric Rowan over the top rope to the floor, and his backdrop Uranagi connects on Harper somewhat. Cena goes to the top, flying body press on Rowan. AA gets countered into Sister Abigail on John Cena, and Bray ends up beating the Superman punch. So, Ambrose with a tope to the floor, and Harper with a super kick gets a 2 off of that. And when he's about ready to try to finish off Roman Reigns, he ends up eating the spear, 1, 2, 3, and the Shield, the new members of the Shield, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, along with John Cena, win the 6-man. So yeah, that was Raw. It was kind of disjointed, I'm aware. Sorry about that. What I recommend from the show, Sheamus and Bad News Barrett, absolutely, definitely would recommend that. Anything Ambrose and Rollins and Reigns, all 3 of the members of the former members of the Shield in this case, anything they say is gold. The Wyatt stuff is always great. I would say that I would recommend Cesaro and Van Dam, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. It was still okay for what it was, and the main event was alright as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So Raw was kind of like I said, a mixed bag this week. We're rolling on to Money in the Bank at the end of this month, and that's pretty much what we've got. So that was NXT, Takeover, and Monday Night Raw for Takeover in this case 2 weeks ago, and Raw for this week. So wrestling content will continue tomorrow. We're going to talk this week's NXT, or last week, a couple days ago's NXT, as well as this past weekend SmackDown. And on Thursday, it looks like there's a possibility that we may be doing NXT on Thursday night. Just kind of depends on what time we get back from How to Overrate or Dragon 2. And once that's done, that may happen. There may be new Halloween Horror Nights news. If that happens, then it'll be NXT and SmackDown video on Saturday. Friday, AJ's movie reviews. We're going to be talking the new movies for the week, 22 Jump Street and How to Train Your Dragon 2. And there's a couple of other things on the horizon as well. Brand new Versus coming this week. It is the 1-year anniversary of Versus here on Pop, so we're going to do something rather epic. 2 franchises definitely going up against one another, and it's going to be really awesome. Ashley will be returning, probably some more E3 coverage later this week. Like I said, Will and Ben may be joining me. Who knows? We'll find out sooner rather than later. And like I said, just stay tuned. If you're a wrestling fan, if you're a Halloween Horror Nights fan, or if you're a regular fan of this channel, the best is yet to come. So, in the meantime, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, help spread the word about Pop. Like our Facebook fan page, it is Suro and Disney Pop, if you haven't yet. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's @SuroandDisney. If you'd like to send me a friend request on Facebook, it is Owen Disney. Last but certainly not least, you want to send your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions. You want to talk Money in the Bank, ideas you have for who's going to win. I think at this point it's probably Cesaro, and that's the right direction to go. And then Cesaro and Brock Lesnar, that's where we go in that direction. And that ends up Cesaro being a number 3 babyface of the company. Or if you'd like to be a podcaster yourself, you can send your videos to my email, suroanddisney@gmail.com. In the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching, and until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.